All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session. We're joined today with our technology partners and HR experts, ELMO, to take a look at how you can better optimize and automate your organization's salary review process. The remuneration process is something we're all undoubtedly familiar with. So looking forward to getting to today's session to hear ELMO's insights for streamlining this process. But before we get into the session, some housekeeping for today. I would love to hear from you throughout the session and have time at the end for a Q&A. So use the chat box at the bottom right of the screen to shoot through any questions for our speakers. If you are having any technical issues throughout the session, please send a message through via the chat on the bottom right, and a member of our team will be able to jump in and help. Let's take a look at the agenda today before we introduce our speakers and get into the session. For those unfamiliar, we'll do a really quick intro to Annexa as the hosts of today's session. I'll then hand over to ELMO to take a look at 1, how you can move away from spreadsheets to manage remuneration allocation. 2, an example of real-time reporting and how you can better understand your data. 3, and also a look at the tools from ELMO to set yourself up for compensation success. Our speakers for today. My name is George Shufedi. I'm a customer success manager here at Annexa and work day to day with our customers to make sure they're maximizing their NetSuite investment. A big part of this being working with strategic partners like ELMO. And speaking of, we're joined today by Stacey, their head of products, and Ganesh, their senior solution consultant. Stacey, I'll hand over to you first for a quick intro.
Hi there, as George said, I'm Stacey. I'm the head of product at ELMO, and I've loved this REM product for over 20 years, using it first as a customer and then helping other people through their REM solution.
And Ganesh?
Thank you, Stacey. Hi, everybody. My name is Ganesh. I'm a senior consultant. I've been with ELMO for the last coming up to 6 years now, and I work with clients across both HR and payroll, including the REM space, and we're happy to showcase the REM module as part of today's webinar.
Thank you both. For those unfamiliar with Annexa, we're one of ANZ's leading NetSuite and system integration partners and have deployed over 200 ERP implementations. We're all about helping businesses to achieve greater efficiency, streamline processes, and support growth with a scalable tech ecosystem. All right, with that out of the way, let's hear firsthand from our guests today. I'll hand over to ELMO to get into it.
Awesome, thanks, George. So just a little bit about ELMO before we get too deep into REM. ELMO is a HR platform that helps our HR customers deal with hire to retire. So we have quite a number of products that can help in that journey. Today, we're going to focus on REM. And as I said in introduction, I've known and loved this tool for over 20 years. 20 plus years ago, I was a customer using this REM solution. And before that, I used the spreadsheet. So let's have a bit of a chat about some of the journey and some of the problems that I had back in my spreadsheet days. And some of them may hopefully feel like what you might be feeling now. I remember times when I had to cut my spreadsheet and send it out to managers and hope that I'd shared the right employees to the right people. Maybe had I forgotten to lock down the cells? Will the managers mess up my formulas? Will they add extra columns in? What kind of mess will I get back? So that really had operational inefficiencies. I really struggled with making sure that all of the compliance and risks were taken care of. So the day that my employers brought this REM solution into our environment was one for celebration for me. Okay, so what did it give me? Well, there was, we had matrices and traffic lights. So these are terms that you'll hear a lot in the REM solution. The traffic lights are to guide managers through the process so that your policy is brought to life in the solution. The matrix is about budget control and giving you the best spend of your budget within the tool. No overspend, complete control over how your money is actually best spent for your employees. And I'll show you a little bit more about that coming up in a few minutes. It empowers managers to make decisions as I say, within your policy. Control of budget, as we mentioned from the matrix, and communication becomes really streamlined. So the letters can be issued from the tool, either by your managers, by your HR team, or somewhere else in the middle. Okay, so one of the things that I mentioned in the tool is this matrix. And this concept is really about how to spend your money in the best way possible for your business, elevating the right employees' pay situation. So you can see there that I've highlighted different cells in this matrix to kind of give an idea of where your money wants to be spent. On the left-hand side, we've got a performance alignment there. You can see the high performance down to low. And across the zones on the top there, we can see this is comp ratio. How does the employee match against the market? So you can see that yellow spot in the middle is an employee who is meeting achievements and right at the middle of the market. Where you want to spend your money is in that dark green top corner there. So these are the employees that are really high performers, but paid really low against the market comparatively to their peers. So that's where you want the chunk of your money to go. And the numbers that are in here are ratios. So it's saying to spend 7 times as much on the employees in that far top corner as to the yellow box in the middle. And the reverse of that's true as well. So the pinky orange fields along the side and bottom, this is where you want to spend the least amount of your money, that your employees aren't meeting requirements or they're really highly paid for the work that they do compared to market. So it's really helping you to define where your money goes and how your budget's allocated through the system. Now, there's many ways of configuring this, but this is the very common, very vanilla version of it. Okay, Ganesh, shall we jump into a demo?
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Stacey. Perfect. I'm just going to get my demo ready. Just going to wait till that pops up on screen. And I think that's fine. Yeah, perfect. Excellent. In terms of today's demonstration, we are going to be looking at the ELMO remuneration module. One of our favorite taglines with that is say goodbye to spreadsheets. As Stacey mentioned, the aim there is to reduce the dependencies on spreadsheets as much as possible and make sure that there are significantly fewer errors being made by the managers and other stakeholders within the organization. Now, in terms of today's demonstration, we're going to be looking at the module predominantly from the eyes of Luca, the manager, sorry, I should say manager, and then we would also be jumping into the platform as an administrator in a short while. So let's do that. Give me a second. Perfect. I've just changed screens. I'm not going to go through the general the logins and the likes for those users in the ELMO platform. Let's jump straight into the remuneration module. Now, typically, when it comes to remuneration within organizations, it is a manager and admin only space. To that extent, we have logged into the system as Luca, a manager. They've got a team of employees reporting to them. And the objective for them is to make sure that they provide the right recommendations to the employees based on market data, based on their performance, and also ensuring that they stay within budget. It is a tough call for them, and let's see how the product can help them achieve that. When it comes to the look and feel, as soon as the manager jumps into the remuneration module, they are greeted by a home page. Now, keep in mind that this is a static page. Typically, our clients end up using the space to advise the managers regarding what the timelines are. And normally, for an annual cycle, that's the general cycle that we see, as well with our clients, what you see on screen. So the one that you see over here. By the way, you would see me use this action quite a bit to direct your attention to something on the screen as we go through the demonstration. When it comes to the remuneration process, though, what we do is we provide you with a workflowed process. It is designed to guide the managers in your organization through the various steps. And administrators within the organization can control what steps are made available to the managers. On the left-hand side, you can see the various steps that I'm talking through. So when it comes to the managers and the remuneration process, they would go through data check, where they can ensure that only the required employees are included as part of the REM cycle. They would then be taken through a series of steps when it comes to recommending remuneration, providing the right bonuses, whether that's discretionary or calculated. And again, we can switch off certain elements there if you would like. And then finally, how does the system help in generating letters? We have a lot of our clients who come to us with letter generation is a major issue because they use mail merge, and that can lead to a whole lot of other problems as well, where employees can see each of the details. All that is eliminated as part of the remuneration module that we see right now. But let's go through those steps. It should take about 10 minutes more. When it comes to data check, this step is a critical step. This is essentially the security step that you do not get when you're using spreadsheets. Essentially, this step lets the managers know which employees are included or excluded as part of the REM cycle, and it can also further get the managers' feedback regarding any changes to the list that you see over here. So over here, Luca would be able to go into any employee, have a quick look at their details, but Luca can also notice that Amelia has been excluded from this particular REM cycle. Luca can get more information as to why Amelia has been excluded. And we can see that Amelia has been excluded because she's new to the role. She just joined in August 2024. We can provide additional controls to the manager, in this case, Luca, to go in and say that Amelia shouldn't be excluded from the REM cycle, but as part of that, they would have to provide a rationale. And all those can be mandatory fields. The biggest benefit that it provides for the organizations is that it provides a very clear and concise audit trail as to who's been excluded or who's been included. And if they've been excluded, what are the reasons and what are the changes that have happened? Bottom line, this step basically removes the greatest risk of people seeing salaries that they shouldn't be privy to. That's the part of the data check process. Once the data check process is done, it's a simple one-click acknowledgement for managers to go in and say, yep, that all looks good. Let's move on to the next step. And that would be recommending remuneration. Now, Stacey spoke about the matrices. So essentially what we can do is we can set up budgets, which can then, it can be a company-wide budget, to be honest, which can then be allocated across those different departments. I'm working from home, so if you hear any sound in the background, that's the vacuum. Sorry about that. But essentially we can have those budgets made available to different departments and their managers. And this is a dynamic budget panel that you see, the one that you see over here with the actual REM budget. Now, before we get into specifics, a quick tour of the screen that you see over here. The managers can get to see all the team members reporting to them. Along with that, they also get to see additional details like the position, the grade, what are the FTE equivalent, performance rating. And yes, we can bring in performance ratings from other platforms, including ELMO. And here is where ELMO, REM, and performance work with each other. So we can bring performance ratings into the system. And as you can see, the system also calculates the current compa ratio. All that information is made privy to the managers. If need be, the managers can also drill down into a specific employee and have a quick look at their market data, where they lie, the current value, and the new value that has been proposed by the system. If need be, again, for your organizations, we can also add additional columns. Right now, you can see a lump sum section. We can choose to disable that or add more columns as well. Bottom line over here is that as a manager, I can go in and say, yep, all these values look great. And I agree with the performance rating. I agree with the compa ratio. I agree with the recommended salary. What the managers can do is distribute the budget. And that would basically distribute the budget evenly across all employees. Quite handy for a lot of the managers. And over here, you can see that the amount is 0. Sometimes certain companies do want a bit of the budget to be available in case there are any negotiations or any certain changes. In that case, let's revert back to the previous value. And as you can see, I can change any of these 3 boxes, and the system would automatically change the other 2. You would also notice that when it comes to Amelia, we can't change any of her information because, as you know, she's been excluded from that particular REM cycle. So right now, I can say that everything, I still have a bit of leeway when it comes to budget. Not a lot, but I still have a bit. But what I wanted to highlight is the traffic lights that you see over here. We can set up business rules within the system to make sure that the managers stay in line with the company principles and recommendations. Right now, over here, I can see that I've given 5% to all the employees. Let's say Graham, deserves a bit more. Let's give him a 7% increase. What the system does is that it flags that and lets me know that, hey, that's fine. It's turned amber. It's fine. You can still go ahead with it. But for the system to proceed, we will have to enter a business case as to why Graham deserves the 7% increase. Maybe I might say that's not enough. I want 15% for Graham for some reason. The system then says, hold on, you can't go any further. You can't even submit a business case. Now, the numbers that I use are arbitrary. That can be set for your organization. It need not be 7 or 15%. That can be based on your organization's needs and requirements. But once we've got all that in place, we would then be able to move on to the next step. And again, every step needs to be approved by an administrator, which means you also get audit trails on what's happening within the platform. As a part of the remuneration process, we can also set up discretionary bonuses, where again, based on the employee's performance rating, the system can automatically provide a bonus target amount, which can be incorporated, or if need be, the managers can provide their own recommendations, which can again trigger those traffic lights that we saw. The system also has the ability to build calculations to reflect your bonuses or incentive plans. Right now, you can see that we've got the individual rating. As a manager, I can go in and say, Elizabeth Anderson actually deserves 60% of her performance has been achieved, in which case the system can automatically calculate the bonus. The system can also be configured to go in and state that if an employee's performance dips below 40%, so let's say that's 39%, the bonus automatically gets calculated as 0. Now, in this case, the manager can provide the numbers at the discretion, but if you want that locked down, the system can accommodate for that as well. Just a quick shout out, in case if there are any questions, please feel free to use the chat window and we'll be happy to come back to you with responses. Once we've got all that ready to go, the system can also go ahead and generate the letters for you. We have rules in place that can be utilized to make sure that each employee only gets to see their own details. And that's exactly what you're seeing over here. As a manager, I can get to see all the letters being generated for the employees reporting to me. We do have the concept of editable paragraphs. It's quite a sweet thing where managers can go in and say that, hey, and I can individually thank each of the team members to go in and say that, thanks for all the hard work. You've been phenomenal this year. So that's what you're getting to see over here. But when it comes to the letters, as you can see, all of that is generated in a PDF document. As Stacey mentioned at the start, one of the biggest fears is managers adding their own columns or adding additional information. We really want that locked down. So be it the previous screens where you had all those columns, or be it the letter that gets generated, everything is in a PDF format. Everything it can't be modified by a stakeholder unless you've got that particular role within the system. And here's what a letter looks like. We've got the remuneration letter. The letter basically addresses the concerned employee. And again, these are templated, so we can set up multiple templates. We have clients who use this only for STI plans as well. That can be done within the system. But essentially, the letter can then be used to inform the employees regarding the remuneration review, regarding the latest, the new remuneration component, and also it can include the remuneration schedule as well in terms of what it entails. And as you can see over here, the manager has gone ahead and put in a personal note as well, thanking Liz for all of her hard work. All that is from the manager view. Now, just to recap, managers are given the ability to make sure that they can provide the right recommendation and right bonuses. They can be bound by corporate rules to make sure that they stay within the company guidelines. And the system can also compute the new comp ratios as well, based on market data that can be brought in and based on the performance rating that can be brought in. All that is, as I mentioned, is from a manager's perspective. What about the admin side? Just a quick look at the admin side before I hand you back to Stacey. Essentially, when it comes to remuneration, administration, let's have a quick look. these are the matrices that Stacey was talking about. And again, this is typically handled as a part of implementation, where we can go in and talk about what values need to be assigned. Right now, you can see that an employee, again, all this is configurable, and we can have as many matrices as possible as needed to work to your organization's needs. The system also supports you with a number of reports. There are a number of standard reports that you get. And one of the most popular report that we see our clients using is the gender gap reports. And as you know, Vijaya compliance has become quite an important component in the last few years. So again, the system can help generate a gender gap report for you or for your clients, depending upon their needs. When it comes to payroll, yes, remuneration information needs to be brought into payroll. So what we can then do is we can utilize the concept of building reports, which can then be used to generate a report almost in the format that needs to go into payroll. So with minimal adjustments, that information can then be brought into the payroll system as well. I'll leave it at that. Obviously, there was a lot of information to go through in 10 minutes. There's more to the remuneration platform. But for the time being, I think we provided a very good overview regarding what's possible within the platform. So I'll stop sharing my screen. You, Stacey.
Great, thank you. As you can see, there is so much to the REM system, and not in 10 minutes doesn't do it justice. So if there's more information that you want, you're very welcome to get a demo of your own solution at some point. The screen here is about ROI calculators. So when you're putting a new system in place, there's always need to put a business case together for your leadership. And so this is just to let you know that we do have some ROI calculators that help you to work out what savings that you'll have by using the system, but also how to best put forward that business case. Naoma, I think you've got the answer. Okay, so we did have a question about payroll versus REM there, but I think from your notes that the answer's been given already. So that's awesome. George, we'll hand back to you.
Thank you to our partners, ELMO, for their time today. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to your customer success manager. We'll also send out a copy of this webinar recording in case you want to revisit any topics. That's it for today, and we hope you have a great rest of the week.